Hey guys, welcome to the Field of 68 YouTube channel. If you like what you see here, hit that subscribe button and you'll get more college basketball content just like this. Here's another one I got for you. And I think we are built to have multiple mid-major runs in college basketball this
Oh
season.
yeah.
Right. And Fana, we're going to kind of get into this a little bit because it's something as soon as McNeese State went into Michigan and beat Michigan and beat Juwan Howard, Fana sent a text to our DTF group chat. Basically said, and it was all caps with like 17 exclamation points. We have to talk about Will Wade and McNeese State on the next podcast. So I guess I'll turn this to you, Fana. Where do they stand in terms of, because I think there's a very real chance that McNeese State could head into the NCAA tournament with 2 losses to their name. They got nothing but Southland games left. They are so much better than anybody else in the Southland, and they play the Southland tournament on their own court. They might fuck around and be undefeated in 2024 heading into the NCAA tournament. Will Wade, he finds a way to get it done. Are they the most likely mid-major for you to be able to be a Cinderella? I got a list of about 5 that I think have a very real chance to make a run, but where do they stand for you? If you haven't signed up for BetMGM yet, use the bonus code FIELD200 and you will receive $200 in bonus bets instantly when placing your first wager of at least $10 with BetMGM. Here's what you got to do. Download the BetMGM app. Sign up using the bonus code FIELD200. Deposit at least $10 and place your first wager on any game regardless of sport. You will receive $200 in bonus bets regardless of the outcome of your wager. Just make sure that you use the bonus code FIELD200 when you sign up. And remember, BetMGM is now available under one wallet in select states. As a New Jersey resident, this is super convenient for me when I have to go cover games in New York or Philly. When crossing state borders, just log into your existing account instead of having to create new accounts in each state that you go to. And most importantly, I got to let you know, we do have some fun stuff coming up for this college basketball season. Bet insurance tokens, college hoops odds boosts, my personal favorite, parlay odds boosts. So download the BetMGM app today.
Oh, they're certainly up there in terms of are they most likely? I mean, if I had put a group of 3 to 5 together, they'd have to be in there. And the reason being is the fact that they could show up to Michigan and Shahada Wells has that.
Shahada Wells. What a great name, by the way.
He's a
Sorry, I
great
just
name.
had to do that.
Great name. It's a terrific player, averaging over 19 points per game. And, he hasn't even shot the basketball on the level he's capable of. DJ Richards Jr., guys, is having a terrific season. I mean, he's shooting 48% three. And he was the Southland player of the week previous to Christmas. What's my point? You have serious stud power. Like you've got guys that can go out and have that type of game. And in the NCAA tournament, you need to have that. A lot of times the teams coming in, you watch the Open in March, right? And I'm simplifying things here. And they say, this guy can do it all. He is that, he coming up in the 5-12. And it's like, sometimes that guy can get you a win. It's the teams that have 2 or 3 of those fellas that can make a couple of wins happen. If I were to package together mid-major programs that could make a run, I'd put Grand Canyon in there.
Oh, yes.
I would put Princeton in there. Princeton has the one defeat to St. Joe's. I mean, guys, St. Joe's is good. I'd put them in there if they could ever win the Atlantic 10 tournament. By the way,
I'm the only thing I would push back on is I refuse to call A10 and Mountain West schools mid-majors. They're just never going to be mid-majors to me.
Well, I understand that. However, I think we have an Atlantic 10 podcast. So
say what you got to say. Make your point. You can make your point.
If I was the Atlantic 10, I think they've got to find a way to circle back as a group and say, what do we need to do in order to get back to being a 4-bid league?
Yeah.
Or let's just start a 3-bid league. I think scheduling's got to be a little bit stronger there. And it comes off to me right now that they're not preserving their best. And when you're a league like that, like the Mountain West has done a great job of scheduling and managing through MTEs that they can be in and win.
Yep.
And they're no longer a doormat. The Mountain West is in the room, and they have a chair in the room. And we're going to get to them in a second. But, man, guys, I mean, Grand Canyon's there. Obviously, McNeese is there. Princeton is there. And I was on the New Mexico bandwagon to begin with. I'm not off of it. They got guards. They got dudes who can score, but the Mountain West is loaded with them, even though it's not a mid-major league. It's beyond that. It's beyond that now. But those are some of the teams that when I look at college basketball, I sit here and say, yeah, they could do something. The other one, don't sleep on if they could win the CAA, look out for UNC Wilmington. Because if they can win the CAA, make the tournament, they could be a real dangerous team.
Tio, as our official SoCon correspondent here, I got one for you. No one has been talking about this team enough. Western Carolina,
Justin Gray,
Vontarius Woolbright.
Wow.
If you guys have not seen Vontarius Woolbright play, and if you would not looked him up, and I'm sure there are a lot of people here haven't, he's averaging 21 points, 13 boards, and 6 assists this season. He is quite literally, T.O., the most productive player in college basketball, point blank period. And they happen to be coached by the greatest three-point shooter in the history of Wake Forest University's basketball program. That's Justin Gray, not Randolph Childress. It's Justin Gray. That's confirmed. They confirmed it with him. Go ahead, T.O.
Yeah, no, Justin Gray has done a phenomenal job. I didn't know what to think about the Justin Gray tenure there after seeing the first year, but what he kept doing was stockpiling talent. And let's be honest, you get in the NCAA
it's nice
tournament.
To have that.
Yeah, you get in the NCAA tournament. You've got guys that can compete and find ways to score, and you have enough length and the ability to do that. It's possible. One more team in that league, Samford. Bucky McMillan,
Bucky Ball, baby.
Yeah, Bucky Ball, 5th fastest team in the country. They've got guys. They always get a couple of guys. So those two in that league this year, I was starting to become high on UNC Greensboro there a little bit. They beat Arkansas. They had some pretty good wins, and then they've lost 3 out of their last 4, including a 37-point outing at Texas. I'm not expecting you to beat Texas, but you got to score more than 37. Yeah. So that's kind of where I was at with them. But Samford and Western Carolina. That's
how close is Furman to that conversation right now for you?
They're not close right now. And it's nothing against Bob's still coaching his butt off. It's just a matter of, JP Pegues sat out last game with an ankle injury. Marcus Foster, who was their best player until he had a knee situation when they played Princeton. They're still very much in the running to win the league when it comes to if they're all healthy come tournament time. But right now, I would doubt, just because Jalen Slauson and Mike Bothwell were a lot to replace, and they're having a hard time finding consistency outside of Foster and Pegues.
Yeah, one more.
I'll give you one more.
Okay,
I'm sorry,
you go first.
Sorry to add one more. Just the winner of the Mid-American is always dangerous, but you got a couple of top 100-ish teams just outside in Kent State and in Akron. And you can't count out Jeff Bowles in Ohio, even though they fell just short this past weekend. But that league, the Cleveland in me says that action is real. That conference tournament's always tough. Whoever ends up winning the MAC, Jalen Sullinger.
Good coaches in that league too, man. Some damn good coaches in that league.
Yeah, Chris Payton Jr., Jalen Sullinger, and Kent State. That's a team I'm looking at. But yeah, I mean, you got John Gross, you got Jeff Bowles, you've got Rob Senderoff. That's a quality mid-major league.
Yeah, it is. 2 more I just want to put out there. The top of the Missouri Valley is really, really good again. I don't know if they're good enough to be able to get 2 bids, but Indiana State can play. Robbie Avila's a lot of fun. And I'm blanking on the kid that went for 27. Why am I blanking on his name at Michigan State on Saturday? But they got guards that can really, really fill it up. Drake's always going to be good as long as DeVries is there. And I just want to shout out Southern Illinois because they got the other Xavier Johnson. Everyone knows about the Xavier Johnson in Indiana, but Southern Illinois Xavier Johnson is averaging 25 a game, 25 and 5 assists a game. So when you have a guard that can go out there and get a bucket, you always
have Isaiah Swope.
Isaiah Swope.
Yeah. When you got a good, that's his name. That's his name. There you go. When you got a guard that can get you a bucket against anybody, you always got a chance to win. And just on Grand Canyon, like we kind of glossed over it a little bit, but Tyon Grant Foster is an NBA player. Like he is 6'8", he is 220. He hits all the NBA shots that you need to be able to hit. For people that don't know his story, he started at Kansas, transferred to DePaul. First game at DePaul that he played, scored 15 points in the first half. At halftime, he collapses, has to go to the hospital. They revive him. He doesn't get cleared to DePaul in the 2021-22 season, doesn't get cleared for the 2022-23 season, transfers to Grand Canyon, and now has a chance to be able to kind of showcase what he can do, and he's doing it, and they're having a great year. And he's not the only guy that they got there. Ray J. I'm blanking on his name, but they have a whole
Ray
bunch of
Harrison.
guards. Yeah, Ray Harrison.
That's the kid from Presbyterian, isn't it?
Yeah. Why did I want to say? I almost said Ray J. Dennis, and I was
Dennis,
like, no,
right?
it's not Ray J. Dennis.
Plus 9 on the glass for Grand Canyon. They really rebound the basketball.
Yep.
You really just said it. They have power conference caliber talent.
Yeah, and all of those teams, T.O., you've made this point over and over again, so I'm kind of stealing it from you, but I'm going to keep doing that and keep stealing it from you. That's a lot of these teams at the lower levels have been able to load up on the 5th and 6th year COVID guys that are transferring down from the high major ranks that are now 23 and 24 years old. And it's really leveled the playing field. Like I think that the level of play in college basketball this year, just in terms of how good the basketball has been, is higher than I can ever remember it being. Like there are a lot of very good, very entertaining games being played. And you combine that with the fact that there's no more charges that can be taken. We got a good thing here, man. This sports, it's in a great place right now, I think. I
think the other thing is there's just this is so terrible grammatically. There's more good players.
Yeah.
Right. There's just the sport has grown and it continues to grow. And in a sport where shot making is just so essential to everything, it's not always perfect. Okay. But I do think that the shot making in college hoops, when you do have older guys, is just going to naturally be better. But I'm not in the class of that this is just 1 or 2 or 3 years. I think in the climate, no longer do you want to be the 7th best on a team or the 4th best on a team. If you could be number 1 head honcho, you want that role because it's a lot more competitive now within these rosters. So the number 1 guy at Grand Canyon, if he moved on from another school, it's not like he wouldn't have a role at a power conference school. It's just there's something to be said about being the number 1 guy, maybe making some dollars, growing yourself into an NBA player, and oh, by the way, making a name for yourself in March. I don't think that this will end after last year or this year. I think it's going to continue.
Yeah. Thank you for watching the Field of 68. If you've enjoyed what you've seen here, hit that like button, share this link with your friends, or check out the description for some other places that you can consume Field of 68 content.